You know the moment. You pick up your phone to check one quick thing, and somehow 20 minutes are gone. You are lying in the dark, thumb moving on its own, feed sliding past, and a small voice in your head is saying you should stop. You meant to stop. And yet, your thumb flicks up again. You are not weak. You are not lazy. You are up against one of the most precisely engineered psychological traps ever built, and it is working exactly as designed. The reason you cannot stop scrolling is not a flaw in your character. It is a law of behavior discovered decades ago in a laboratory, and your feed is running on it right now. To understand the trap, meet the experiment that revealed it. In the middle of the 20th century, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner studied how rewards shape behavior, using animals in boxes with levers. He found something surprising about how to make a behavior stick. If you reward an animal every single time it presses a lever, the behavior is actually fragile. The moment the rewards stop, the animal quickly gives up. But if you reward it unpredictably, sometimes on the third press, sometimes the 10th, sometimes not for a long while, something powerful happens. The animal presses that lever compulsively, relentlessly, and it keeps pressing long after the rewards dry up. Skinner called this a variable ratio schedule, and it is the single most effective pattern known for burning a behavior deep into a brain. Reward that comes at random, that you can never quite predict, is almost impossible to stop chasing. Skinner ran this with pigeons and rats, and the difference was stark. The steady, every-time reward produced a calm habit that fell apart the moment the payouts stopped. The unpredictable reward produced something closer to obsession, an animal pressing the lever over and over, refusing to give up even through long, dry stretches when nothing came at all. Predictability, it turns out, is what lets a brain walk away, because it can sense when the well has run dry. Unpredictability removes that off switch. If the very next try might be the one that finally pays, there is never a clean, obvious moment to stop. If that sounds familiar, it should, because it is the exact engine inside a slot machine. A slot machine does not pay out every time, and it does not pay out never. It pays out just often enough and completely unpredictably, so you keep pulling the lever, hoping the next pull is the one. That uncertainty is the whole addiction, and it is precisely the same design sitting in your hand. Think about what scrolling actually is. Most of what slides past you is forgettable, boring, nothing. But every so often, unpredictably, you hit something wonderful, a hilarious video, a beautiful photo, a message that makes you feel seen. You never know which flick of the thumb will deliver it, so you keep flicking, exactly like pulling a lever, chasing a reward that arrives on a random schedule. A former technology design ethicist named Tristan Harris put it bluntly. Your phone, he said, is a slot machine in your pocket, and the little gesture where you pull the screen down to refresh the feed is not a coincidence. It is, mechanically, you pulling the lever. That already explains a lot. But there is a deeper layer hiding in the chemistry of your own brain, and it reveals why the maybe is so much more powerful than the actual reward. The chemical everyone blames for all of this is dopamine, and almost everyone gets it slightly wrong. We tend to think dopamine is the pleasure chemical, the little hit of happiness you get when something good happens. That is not quite what it does. Dopamine is not really about the reward itself. It is about the anticipation of a possible reward. It is the chemistry of wanting, of seeking, of something good might be about to happen. Studies of the brain's reward system found that dopamine spikes not when the treat arrives, but in the moments before, while you are still hoping. And crucially, that spike is biggest when the reward is uncertain, when you genuinely do not know whether it is coming. Sit with what that means for your feed. The most potent dopamine state is not getting the great video. It is the instant right before, the flick of the thumb, the half second of not knowing while the next post loads. Every scroll is a tiny bet, and the maybe is the drug. This is why the boring posts do not break the spell. They are not failures of the machine. They are the empty pulls that keep the uncertainty alive, and the uncertainty is the whole point. Your brain is not chasing the good post. It is bathing in the endless, delicious maybe of the next one. A feed of nothing but great content or a feed of nothing but garbage would both get boring fast. It is the unpredictable mix that keeps your dopamine system leaning forward forever. Now add the final ingredient, the one that turns a strong pull into a bottomless one. For most of human history, the things we did had natural endpoints, built-in signals that told us we were done. The meal ended when the plate was empty. The book ended when you reached the last page. The stack of letters ended when there were no more to read. These stopping cues are how we naturally close a loop and walk away. The modern feed has quietly deleted them. Infinite scroll means there is no bottom, no last page, no empty plate. The feed regenerates forever, so the moment where you would naturally stop simply never arrives. You are left waiting for a finish line that has been erased, and so you keep going. Not because you are enjoying it more, but because nothing is telling you it is time to stop. Put those three things together and you can see the whole machine clearly. A reward that comes at random, the most addictive schedule known to psychology. A dopamine system that is driven by the anticipation of that random reward, and that fires hardest precisely because you cannot predict it. And a bottomless design that strips away every natural signal to stop. None of that is an accident, and none of it is about how strong your willpower is. Your feed was built, deliberately and expertly, around the exact levers that make behavior compulsive. Blaming yourself for losing to it is a little like blaming yourself for getting wet in the rain, which is also where the relief and the power come from. Once you see the machine for what it is, it loses some of its grip. You can start to hand yourself back the stopping cues it took away, setting a timer, turning off the endless refresh where you can, silencing the notifications that yank you back in. You can notice the pull of the maybe as it happens, and recognize it as a lever, not a need. You will not outmuscle a slot machine with willpower, and you were never supposed to. You beat it by understanding it, and by gently putting the levers back out of reach. The scroll is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is proof that something was engineered very cleverly, aimed straight at the oldest wiring you have. That is why you do what you do. This is Mindling.